Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Right. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Are you ready?
I'm very well, Sam. Good to see you.
How we doing? Are you ready? Have you got a drink?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no, you haven't. Don't you dare. Come on. Play along.
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah, that's enough of that, isn't it, really?
No, can we stop that now? Can we stop?
You're all done now, aren't you, actually?
Right.
It was... I guess the kids have been back at school for, half a week? So they
Some of them have been back, a week, half a week. Yeah, I know they go back at different times. But yeah, we stopped sort of last weekend of their summer holiday, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But for anyone who has no idea what we're on about, and if you don't, why the bloody hell? Well, I suppose there might be quite a lot of people watching who aren't British nationals, who don't understand. I mean that in the nicest way possible, not like, oh, you think you don't understand. Just haven't grown up with Panto. Oh yes you have, oh no you haven't is sort of a back and forth audience interaction thing that you often see at traditional British pantomime, along the same lines of it's behind you, and there are lots of silly little interaction things. And the reason we're talking about that, and we've gone straight onto a topic today, wow, exciting stuff, is because, Drew, you've just been doing a summer panto, which is a fairly, it's a much more modern thing, although,
yeah.
Do you remember back, years ago now, genuinely years ago, we had the lovely Simon on from Pantomime magazine, and he was talking about how the origins of Panto were actually, it wasn't a Christmas thing, and it just sort of developed into that. But that's what, if you say Panto to most people, they will think Christmas time, sort of like late November is normally the earliest start.
Yeah.
Sort of very early February, late January is normally the latest finish, but that's your sort of traditional Christmas pantomime. But you've just been doing a summer one, so explain.
Well, yes, we did at our venue that most people, regular listeners, will know. My other half and I, Verona and I, we've got a little venue that we're working with in Bedfordshire, just outside Luton, called the Old Watermill. And we did 4 days of pantomime performances the last week of the summer holiday for, obviously children's audience, but we did Sleeping Beauty, and we had to adapt that for 4 actors, given our space and resources. We usually tend to work with casts of 4 and maybe a live musician. This time we did cast of 4, and we had music written for the show. Which meant that oftentimes one of us was running around backstage to cue and, hit the music, to hit the tracks. It was very interesting. It was when we were directing it, Verona and I were directing it, and the other 2 girls were at the company going, right, what are you doing there? You're getting changed. You're on. I'm free. Right, I'll do the sound. So we were, But yeah, it's as you say, it's a more recent thing. I know. It became a Christmas tradition. I don't know how it became a Christmas. You're right. We chatted about that, but I think now certainly there are pantos at Easter, and in summer. I think Easter because it's another, shall we say, / religious holiday or a national holiday. Summertime, I think, is just basically it's a good economic thing for theatres or smaller venues. Put a panto on for a few weeks because children and family audiences are available. Yeah, but we had a lovely time.
Yeah, I guess you can look at it the other way as well. It is something for children to do, and I imagine parents are often looking for things to do to keep kids occupied. Easter's probably slightly easier because it's a week or 2 weeks, isn't it? Whereas summer, what do they get now? 6, 7, 8 weeks off?
6, 7 weeks, something like that. Yeah,
trying to find stuff to fill that. So I think it works from both ways. Obviously, from a as you say, economic kind of point of view, it gives theatres something to put on. It gives production companies something to create and something to aim for. But general public, it gives children something to do and parents something to take children to. So, but it's an intriguing one because you do Easter as well. So I guess, and this has just sort of dawned on me, you spend quite a large chunk of your year doing panto. You obviously play a role in each of these, but you also direct all of them and produce all of them.
Yes, I mean co-direct and co-produce with Verona, but yes, yeah, and also we write and adapt them as well. I wrote last year's Sleeping Beauty, Red Riding Hood, and this year's Sleeping Beauty, and it's a lovely challenge because it's a 50-minute show, so it's it's condensed.
Yeah,
we have to get the elements of pantomime in. Including behind you. Oh yes, it is. No, it isn't. Maybe a ghost gag. Maybe a comedy patter routine.
Yeah.
Who's on first? What's on second? We this one we did. I said I need some. I've got some socks and I need a box. What, a box for socks? Yes, but a big socks box. A box of socks for big. So we had that, and it gets longer and longer and longer. So it's getting all those elements in 50 minutes. And we also do, because it's a small studio space, we're getting, maximum of 60 people in so that everyone's comfortable, and gets good, gets a good view, etc. We do 4 shows a day.
Yeah.
So, we're say, 9:45, 10:30, 1:30, 2:30, whatever the times are. So it's quite a treadmill. Yeah. We do give ourselves a little half an hour, so I go a cup of tea and go. But yeah, it's good. The lovely challenge is to get it on in a short time and get all those elements of panto that and I know in there, so people go, oh yeah, that was a panto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so and the reason I sort of say that, like, you spend a lot of your year doing it. Obviously, more recently you've been doing Grotto. At Christmas, but equally you've done a lot of Christmas panto as well, and although that's been working for tends to be bigger production companies, you've also directed in those as well. But I want to sort of look at the role, and as I said, something's just sort of come to mind about the fact that you do this so often. You play the Dame, or more often than not, you have obviously.
I have done, yes,
other roles, but most of the time you play the Dame character, the eponymous male dressed as a female. Everyone in the audience knows that's a man in a dress, but for some reason everyone on stage is completely oblivious to the fact that really obvious man is a man, not a woman. A great role with, I guess, slight differences every time you do it, because there's a rotation. As you said, last year you did Red Riding Hood. Was that last year or was that Easter? Sorry.
No, that was last year, summer.
Last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they sort of rotate. So there's maybe, 8 different sort of traditional pantos?
I think it probably is. Yeah, I mean, and they're adding more on now. So, I mean, yes, I think there's, yeah.
How do you find the fact that what you're essentially doing is playing the same role quite often? Like, is that one of the reasons you do so much? Because you really like being the Dane character, and let's face it, as much as they are different names each show and slightly different sort of storylines, you're regurgitating a lot of the same lines or very similar lines, very similar bits. Like, it must feel quite repetitive. I mean, panto's repetitive anyway, because when we've done it previously, most of the time you're looking at about 40-ish performances on a run for a Christmas panto, where it runs over those sort of like 6 weeks or so. Shorter runs, obviously, less performances. But as you said, you did 4 days, but in those 4 days you've done 16 performances. So it's very, very condensed.
Yeah.
Add that on to doing it at Easter, doing it at Christmas. How do you find basically doing the same thing over and over and over again?
It's the challenge of keeping it fresh, of bringing something new. I mean, if you're like I haven't done long periods of time as Dame in a venue, but certainly very good friends of mine and people that we've had on that are regular panto performers very often get attached to a theatre, and very often there's a couple of friends of mine, Damien Williams, Brad Fitz, Ben Roddy. They've been dames in their particular theatres for getting on 10 odd years. They are the figureheads and the stables, and they will do stuff because the audiences expect them to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, and very often, even if you're a dame for 1 or 2 years in a venue, they'll go, well, the dame always does this, the dame always does that. We expect that. So you have to fit into that pattern, but you make it your own, and to keep it fresh. And there are always different things. But I think it's the joy of playing. And the other thing is, of course, children come and go. You know, they grow out of panto, they grow into panto. So, you know, probably every 5 years there's a new audience, or there's an audience who love to come back and do it over and over again. For me, it's the joy of doing that again, over and over again, and still staying fresh, still making those, you know, old gags work. And as you know as well, I can ask you the same question because you're a regular villain. So, and I spin the question back to you, Sam. What do you get out of doing the same stuff with all the expected things of a classic villain? There are expectations on you and what you have to do and what you bring to it.
Well, I guess panto is a unique one in the sense that you are given such freedom, and the minute you bring audience interaction into something, it makes it so unpredictable. Like, don't get me wrong, no performance is ever the same twice. Even if you're doing a role in Shakespeare or a role in a famous play where the lines are so set and the actions are pretty set, you will do the same performance every night, but there'll always be slight little differences and slight little variations to your delivery or to how someone interacts or the length of a pause. The big difference comes when you've got something that is completely out of your control. And panto, an audience interaction, that can go any way whatsoever, can't it? So you've got
good point.
You've got heckling, you've got call and response, you've got various other things that you have no control over, number one, but number two, you also don't want to be the same, because otherwise it sort of could get stale. But it's highly unlikely it would ever be the same, isn't it? That's the nature of the beast. So I guess I haven't really answered your question, but I don't have full control over keeping it fresh. That's semi out of my hands, but that's kind of why I like it and why I will keep going back and playing the villain who, in the same way as the Dame, yes, maybe has a different name, a different costume, and is trying to achieve a different evil thing once every 6 or 7 years, like the rotation comes around.
Yeah.
But it's all around a similar theme and is driven by what goes on externally and what's out of your control. Let me flip that on its head, that question, or sort of steer one way, because obviously you've just finished doing this summer panto, but just before that you were doing rep, and people who listen to previous episodes will know that you were away in Lyme Regis doing 3 different shows in rep, one of which is quite a special play for you, isn't it?
Yeah, Strictly Murder, which there'll be people listening going, "Oh, don't talk about Strictly Murder again, Drew." But I mean, it's interesting about, and I know why you brought it up, because I got to do it for a second time. The first time I did it, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago on tour. So that was quite a different circumstance. This was same role, obviously a different company of actors. We only had, we had that, 4 and a bit days to rehearse and put it on. Different theatre. So the challenge, an interesting challenge, which I guess is what you're aiming at, is coming back and playing it again. And how did it feel? It was great to do it again. I love the role. What I had to do mentally was go, these aren't the same actors. It's going to be a different performance. Therefore, I'm probably ahead of them with a knowledge of my knowledge of the play and knowing what things work. And I hate to be one of those actors who goes, when we did it before. So I stopped myself. Yeah. Occasionally, I would say, if someone said, what does that mean? Or how, why is he thinking that? I go, and I did, my relationship to that line that you say is this.
Such a political way of putting it.
And it is a way of going, well, the other guy said it like that. Occasionally, but I mean, people did say to me, it was very interesting because there is kind of, I think, only one way to play the character. Or there's only one mindset. And so my mindset was, this is my character, this is who I am. And then when the other actors that I was working with took lines different ways, took the scene a different way. The guy that played it this time round, Mitch, was very different to the guy, Gary Turner, who played it before, in the way that they saw scenes, the way their journey through the play was. So that affected me, which meant that it kept it fresh. I didn't fall into playing it like I'd done last time, but I knew who the man was and I knew why I was there. But then I'm, like all good actors should be, I'm listening and watching other people. And, it was I did think about it with trepidation and go, am I going to enjoy it as much? And I did. I enjoyed it for different reasons as well. The 4 days, and hadn't done it in 8 years. I did have to look at the lines.
Yeah.
Obviously. But also the challenge of getting it on a different set. Interesting that the set was flipped over. It's the same set because it's what you got. But what was stage right last time is stage left this time. So it was that immediately made me look at the room differently. The director, Sue, went down different ways and different avenues with different thoughts, and that was great. And it was at no time did I ever want to go no, because obviously the millions of times that Hamlet has done, people have had different ways. People go, no, that's wrong. It's never wrong. It's just different.
There's that danger, isn't there, about being precious about something, particularly if it's a direction for your character that you have a vivid memory of doing in a certain way and getting a certain reaction, particularly if it was, I don't know, a comedic line and the audience reaction you just remember being incredible. There is that then sort of, well, I don't want to change that because I remember how I felt and the reaction it got. And is it selfish? Maybe slightly, but equally, like you're looking at it from the good of the production. And if you know something went well last time, doesn't mean it won't go well if you do it differently. But there is that, we've talked before, haven't we, about famous lines and like when they have sort of like a history and they have this sort of, everyone knows what to expect. Yeah, you can change stuff up, but
is it worth it?
Maybe you shouldn't. We won't go into specifics there. People will make judgments. But yeah, so no, I was intrigued because I know it's your favourite play. I know you love that role.
I have to say one thing to interrupt you. There was one role in the play, and I won't mention which one, but it was remarkable how the two actors were so similar.
Really?
In some places. I would be standing listening, or even talking to the character, and there would be a moment of like, that is scary. That is so, you think that's either down good actors reading the script and going, and previously we had 3.5, 4 weeks rehearsal and really developed and did loads of research. This one, 4.5 days, for the two, I thought it was interesting with the two performers to make those same decisions.
Yeah.
And make this, that I think is the strength of a good play because there's only one way of doing this.
Yeah.
This is the way to do it. I've given you all you need to know.
And then just to clarify, you said you were the only one that had done this play before.
Yes. Yeah. So no one had done it before. So it was very interesting to watch that and go. So at times I was almost in the same scene because it was, the actor was playing it the same. It was like, wow, that's extraordinary.
Let me play devil's advocate then, because this is a great example. And you said there was a little bit of trepidation, but in the end you sort of went, well, no, it's going to be different. Is there a role that you have played that you can think of that you would be concerned or sort of maybe against playing again And I don't have people out there going, "Oh, you shouldn't turn work down," and blah 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 blah. You privileged, blah blah blah. That's not what I mean. But do
No.
you have an experience of playing a role that is so precious to you and lives so happily in your memory that you kind of go, I don't think I'd want to tarnish that by doing it again.
There is actually. I was thinking about it as you said that, and there is one. Um, Dead of Night was the play. I'm trying to think of the author. I think it's is it David Wally or John? Anyway, character's Jack, and yeah, I played it twice. I did it at Nottingham Theatre Royal, and then we did a short tour. And it's a beautiful, beautiful play.
All in one, sorry. So like the same production company, same or completely separate.
It came out of that, but it was we wouldn't actually we changed a few actors. A couple of actors weren't available, but it came out of one producer. We did it in, and then it went on tour with pretty much the core, and then it was toured by another producer.
Yeah,
who was in the play. Was in both, so he was in one in the theatre, and then he produced and took it on tour, co-produced. And it was such, I don't know, it must have been. I'm probably now more the age of the character now than I was then. I was probably 20 years too young for it.
Okay.
I'm probably a few years too old now, but I'm more near, and I've got probably a bit more life experience now to throw into that character, and probably a little bit more, I hate to say it, gravitas, age wise and whatever.
Yeah.
But it was such, I enjoy playing the role so much that I think, yeah, best left. Leave that as a lovely memory. Yeah, I'd have trouble going back to do that one again. I mean, I think I got it very right, and I got some lovely comments about it. So you think best left, but it was a good experience to play. Yeah, that would be the one to like. Leave Jack alone. Yeah, Dead of Night is dead to me, but beautiful. I mean, a fantastic play.
Yeah.
Amazing play. If anybody wants to look at a great play with great speeches for a male actor in it, there are some stunning speeches and stunning, If ever you want to play, anybody wants to play a real shit, get Dead of Night, read it. There's some great shit speeches in there for everyone. I think that's why I enjoyed it as well, because he's a real anti-hero and the audience love him, but they really shouldn't. They really should not like this guy because, he has done what he's got away with doing. He's also, he's a shit to his wife. It's great, but the audience love him.
Yeah.
The audience just suck him up. So again, I'm going to flip it back to you. I know there's some stuff that you love doing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna dive right back early days career. And you and your broken record earlier. I'm gonna do the same. Long-term listeners and watchers of Drewling Samantics will know the role I'm about to mention, Lonnie in Rock of Ages. It was always my dream to play the role. It was my favourite show in the West End when I first saw it. I'd seen it numerous times and all over the world. Even when I'd been abroad, I'd managed to catch different versions of it, and I just adored it. And I made it one of my goals to be able to play this character. And I did it. And it was a quick turnaround. I think we only ran for a few weeks. The rehearsal period was relatively short as well, but the feeling of that team being together, that group of actors, group of performers, we worked so hard. I won't go into the details because they're in previous episodes, but we had illness in the cast and we had a lot of last minute changes and things that we had to sort of deal with. That just brought us closer. And I think that's one I'd struggle to do again, simply because such powerful, wonderful memories of doing it. And there is nothing about, despite the sort of slight issues at times, I don't think there's anything about that experience that I would change. In fact, I did audition for the national tour of it a couple of years later. I think I got the audition based on the fact that I'd played the role before. and I didn't get it, obviously, because otherwise I'd be talking about it. But there's a little bit of me that is glad. I mean, for one reason, lots of things happened in my personal life after that I wouldn't have been able to do had I been touring with that show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't have happened eventually, but things just happened in that sort of time frame. So, and they always say things happen for a reason, blah blah blah. But equally, there's a bit of me that thinks I now still have that memory of that show, only ever doing it that one time, and the experience of it. So that doesn't mean to say that if it came up, I wouldn't audition for it, because I absolutely adore the role. But there would be, as you said, that little bit of trepidation going, do I really want to do it again? Because everything was so perfect, or felt so perfect last time. Do I really want to try and better that, or try and live up to that? The one, and it's not quite a straightforward answer as I don't want to do that again, or I do want to do that again. The one that I will mention is, as you know, and again, as a lot of listeners and watchers know, I was in the Full Monty, the musical. Now, I played the role of Ethan Gerrard, and it was brilliant. It's a very emotional role. He ends up falling for one of the other guys who is one of the six dancers, one of the six main characters, and they have some very sort of heartfelt moments, and there are ups and downs, and I adored it, and the camaraderie of the six of us playing those guys, like, unbelievable. I wouldn't change that experience for the world. Would I want to do it again? Well, I'd quite like to play a different role within that.
Oh, I was so going to ask you that question. Yeah, brilliant.
I wouldn't want to play the same role again, because I feel I did that, and as you said earlier, and people say, "Oh, it sounds potentially a bit arrogant." That's not what we mean, but Phil, you gave it everything you could. You nailed it. You did. You don't feel you could change anything about what you did. It just was right. It just felt right. So I don't think I'd want to revisit him, but I love that musical. I love the story. I love the music in it. Everything about it is brilliant. I'd love to do it again. And I don't think by playing a different role, it would sort of, I'd end up comparing it to the previous one, because I'd be in a different space.
Yes.
Be in a different sort of position within it. So there you go. Two sort of slightly different answers. One that I'd be reluctant to do again simply because I have such incredible memories of it. But one that I'd be quite keen to do again because I got such amazing memories of it, but would like to see it from a slightly different angle. So
yeah.
What about, here's one for you. Is there something, and don't want to put a negative spin on things, but is there something you've done and you've gone through and you go, I never want to do that again, but not because that was perfect, but because it just wasn't for you?
I'm trying to think. I don't think there is.
Tell you what, I'll answer as
Go
much
on.
as my own question, because I've got one that springs to mind straight away. And again, this isn't I would never ever do it, I absolutely hate it, blah blah blah, but it's just something that in my mind I wouldn't necessarily pursue, because it didn't feel like it was my path to go down.
Okay.
And that was drag. Or playing a dame, or playing a sort of a cross-gendered role. I was in a musical called Pageant, which is about an American beauty pageant, but it just so happens that all the contestants are men dressed as women. And I enjoyed it, and I worked with an incredible team. Like the production company and the other actors, performers were phenomenal, and we had such a laugh doing it. But it didn't feel like a role that I was all of a sudden, oh my God, this is what I want to do. Like, you know, when you get into a certain thing and you're like, this is it. And I think that's probably the case for a lot of dames, for a lot of roles. You do that and you're like, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing. Doesn't mean they can't do other stuff, and doesn't mean they don't do other stuff, but you sort of go, this is almost my niche, my area, the thing that I am best at, feel most at home doing, most comfortable doing. Yeah. And I had the opposite feeling to that. It didn't feel natural for me. I mean, I was able to do it and we got great feedback, and obviously I enjoyed doing it, but it didn't feel like this is something I'm going to pursue a lot. I would do it again. Absolutely, it's great fun. But it's not my path to go down. I don't think so.
I don't think I'm trying to think. I don't think there is a particular role or anything, but there are certain sets of circumstances I wouldn't sort of repeat. You know, I don't know. It's. I mean, there's one play that I think what I wouldn't do is put myself in the position where I didn't think it was good casting for me. I did one play many years ago, and I knew I wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
When I went to the audition, I thought I'm not right for this. But the production team said, "Oh yeah, you're exactly right," and I thought I'm not. And I think I would, and I haven't done it since. Put myself in that position. But that was one where I thought I shouldn't be in this show because I'm not right for this part. And I did it to the best of my ability, but I was never happy. And I think the audience weren't happy with my performance, or we're going, why is that guy playing that part? You know, I had to I did have to manipulate lines, and I'm sitting there looking at the director going, really, is it too late to recast me? Because if I was you, I would recast me. And I pushed through, and it's like, So that was one situation where I felt I was badly cast, and I wouldn't ever do that again. I wouldn't just take the job for job's sake. And I didn't, because it was a fringe job, and we never made any money, and the producer ran away with the money anyway. So
there's a story for another day.
There's a story for another day, yeah.
Wow. But yeah, so I think it's such a unique industry in that you wouldn't really have these conversations in any other thing. Like you might not work for the same client again or with the same people again.
Very true.
But I guess you're unlikely to get a plumber going, well, I'm not going to work on that kind of bathroom, or like I think it.
Yes, yeah.
Or equally, I'm never going to install a tap again because the last tap I nailed, it was so perfect. I don't want to ruin my memories of that tap. No offense to it. So I just picked you out of the air, sort of thing, for an example. But yeah, what a weird job to be in, where you can kind of go, oh, I had the best time doing that. I don't want to do it again. And obviously it's not as cut and shut and simple.
No, of course. But I appreciate what you're saying. Yeah, isn't it? It's an odd thing to kind of, discuss, isn't it? It's like, yeah, that's interesting.
I guess the only other thing to say along those sort of lines is, and we'll finish up with this, is there a role you can think of that you perhaps, and I'm talking film, theatre, whatever, that you wouldn't want to take on because of someone else having done it before and thinking, there's no way that I can't match up to that, or like that's so iconic? Is there something out there?
I think there are. Yeah. Slight change that. I was offered a role in something, and I said, no, you should get that person to do it because they're going to do it better than me. I was still in the show. I played a far smaller role. But I thought, no, I can't play it as well as that guy. So give it to him. Within the company, we were doing rep, and I went, I'll give it to him. I'll play that part. I can play that equally as well. But he will play it better. As a touching things, I don't know, because I would never kind of. I don't know. There's. I mean, if you look at sort of classic roles, I mean, not that I was ever likely to be offered it, but you look at someone like look at Michael Crawford and Barnum and things like that. You go, no, I'd never go anywhere near that. That's career defining. So
there's a slight fear that you'd get compared to someone else having done it.
I mean, I think there's always that worry when you do a show. You're all, and other people have done it before. Like shows in the West End and things like that. And people say, oh, I saw it with him, and now he's doing it, and I don't think he's. And everybody has their personal. It's like when Joseph was running in the West End for donkey's years, and everyone was in and out of it, any celebrity, and not any celebrity, but and they were all very capable. But everyone was going, well, are you a Donny Osmond, or is it a Philip Schofield, or and it was like, who? There are dozens of them, and they're all good. and everyone has their personal favourite. So
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think it's generational, isn't it? I mean, we
very
talked,
true.
we've talked before about Bond, and everyone has their Bond, and they go, that was Bond for me, and you'll get an argument, oh no, because he was better, because he did blah 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 blah. And it's the same when we've talked about, and this is a great advert for people going back to listen to different episodes.
Yes, go back.
Reruns and remakes and reboots and what have you. Like, so we said Italian Job was a great example. Total Recall. Like, you have these films made famous or so sort of integral to people's growing up and experience of cinema or what have you because of this lead actor that did this thing. And then all of a sudden you're doing it again and they're not in it. And Harry Potter's a massive conversation at the moment, isn't it? Because they're now doing this series and none of the originals are in it. Albeit most of them can't be, sadly, because a lot of the original cast of Harry Potter are dead. But equally, because the ones that played the children age 11 are now like 40. So
40, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but how do you steer that? Do you go, I want to do this because I saw blah, blah, blah do it and they were brilliant and I want to be brilliant? Or do you go, I'm not going to touch that because they were brilliant and I can't get anywhere near that? I mean, I guess it's individual case, individual like situation and stuff, but it's an interesting one to think of.
It's a very interesting ask. It's a very good question.
Yeah,
very good question.
Which we're not answering. We've not.
Well, neither of us can answer it, but no,
we've just thrown it out there and gone, here's a question, answer it yourself.
Answer it yourselves. Yeah. What do you think Sam and Drew think?
Yeah. You can give us
answer it for us.
Our own answers. No.
Mm.
Right. Let's stop while we're ahead. Quit while we're ahead. Except we're not ahead. Let's just.
Well, it's quit while we're slightly behind. That'll do. Yeah.
Mate, we have another guest next week. I am super excited to speak to someone I know, but just incredible stories to be told with this guest.
Lovely.
Very, very much looking forward to catching up and chatting. And I think our listeners and watchers will be blown away by some of these stories, and I'm anticipating great numbers and uptake and lots of comments and stuff as well. So really looking forward to that one. As I know you are. Yeah.
I think there's, as you say, I think there's a very, very interesting story that people will love to hear about.
Yes.
I'm really going to enjoy it.
But until then, we'll leave everyone to sort of, what's the word? Digest what we've talked about today.
I was going to say cogitate, but there you go.
You and your codger can stay wherever it needs to, mate. On that note, have a fantastic week, everyone. We'll see you next time with a guest. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Drew, have a good one, mate. See you later on.
And you, Sam. Cheerio, everybody.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.